Welcome back to Chasing My Potential, where I help you discover those knowledge gaps massively holding you back. Whether it be the small technical details or decision making, we cover it all, leaving no stone unturned. We have another individual session with a pro. The main 3 things that we fixed, that you can too by watching this video, was her first touch, taking it from this to this, stopping that bounce up as she controlled. Next, we worked on a specific skill, mastering the touch, timing and rhythm of it, especially on the weaker leg. We took it from this to this. And lastly, we added another skill to her toolbox for a specific scenario that she finds herself in game. We took it from this to this. So follow along and see what you can learn. And shout out to Mia for letting us film another session and use her clips. So let's get into it. So we started with this warm-up where we pass back and forth 6 times. Then on the 7th pass, she escapes with her first touch, using different variations. As time went on, I noticed Mia's footwork from her first touch to the pass was usually touch, step, pass, which is fine and sometimes the best option. But it's become such a big habit that she would do the touch, step, pass, sometimes a little out of control, on a stretch. So what we needed to then work on was her ability to quickly adjust her feet lightning fast with a few steps to get the perfect contact on the ball, and learn how to adjust to a more loose ball. You can think of the touch and pass in 2 different variations. The first being control, step, pass. The pros to this is that it can be executed lightning fast, but the cons, if your touch is slightly off, passing the ball at a stretch can 1, make it slower, but also you're at risk of doing a poor pass, mainly because of the balance. The second variation is a control, fast feet pass. The pro to this is even if the ball is slightly loose, you can maintain your balance and set the perfect foundation for any pass. And the con would be it can be slightly slower than doing the first variation perfectly. So the first rule I added to this exercise was the transition from the control and pass has to be as fast as possible.
Because sometimes when you're doing it, it's a bit like this. Yeah. Fast feet, it's always like really quick reaction. You'll be good at it as well because you got really fast feet. That's it, that was perfect.
And doing so, I assumed because the goal is to control and pass as fast as possible, the margin for more slightly loose touches is higher, meaning I can coach her to adapt by doing fast feet. But we discovered that it's become so natural for her to not adjust when it's the right time to. Everyone is a control step pass, even when slightly out of control. But she's very good at it. Now, you may be watching this and think, this looks fine, she's done great, and you're right. But with the control step pass, I want you to see how susceptible you would be to a nudge in the back, making you super unbalanced because you don't have a strong foundation. Especially at these points as you plan and go to stretch for the pass, any pressure from behind, you're going to mess up the pass. Especially with being a striker and pressure from behind. She needs to learn to adapt and be able to quickly do the control, fast feet, pass if pressure is applied. At the moment, she could be nudged from behind and easily become out of control as she isn't ready to catch herself, creating that strong, solid foundation for a good pass. So then we adapted the drill to something that makes sure she has to control, fast feet, pass.
Next touch is going to be outside, and now it has to be the same foot. Touch, pass with the same foot. Doing this with both feet, with the same foot, 1, 2 will be really good for you to work on your fast feet. Yeah. Because you can't go like this. Yeah. The ball needs to be here, step, step, pass. Yeah. Good. Good.
Now, as we see, everyone is that variation. Because she's not used to it, she's nowhere near as sharp as she could be, but in due time, it will be perfect.
Good.
Now, this is where we fixed Mia's first touch. If you struggle with your first touch in any way, this will be perfect for you to see. Even if your touch is perfect, understanding the actual physics behind a good touch will serve you well. Remember, a player who is more self-aware, can improve more, is easier to coach, and also doesn't need to rely on coaches as much as others to get better. They can self-analyze their own game, but firstly, to get to that level, you need to uncover your knowledge gaps. And that's exactly what I'm trying to help you do with my videos.
touch. Good reaction though.
The ball keeps bouncing. Is that because, why is that? When I control the ball.
Let's have a look.
Like, see?
Ah, yeah. Because you're lifting your foot up. As the ball's coming in, you're lifting it up a little bit too high.
Okay.
So it seems like it's nicking off here.
Yeah.
Try and keep your foot a little bit lower.
Okay.
So as you see, the first way to improve your touch is to make sure your controlling foot isn't hanging too high. Perfect touch here, nice and low.
That's better.
Nice, see, stuck on the floor, good. Good, well done. Very good.
Now the next touch bounces up, and you can see the difference between the hanging foot height. Now this touch Mia done made me realise there is also something else she's sometimes doing wrong. Watch slowly, see if you can spot it.
If you look at a touch, when the ball's coming, again it's like physics. As the ball's coming in, if I just keep this foot still where it is, the ball will bang off. It's almost like the ball comes in and you move your foot back the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
And that just makes the ball just stop.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing your foot to the ball,
Yeah.
it's gonna go this way.
Okay.
Now, at this crucial point of coaching for you guys, of course, the school pitch we were training on, the whole school came out on the other side of the pitch, absolutely blasted music, and had a massive festival. So parts of the video I'll have to mute and talk over to explain what I'm talking about, because a copyright strike will get us from the music from the festival. But I'm also aware I need to get one of them little wireless mics as well. So I'm saying, if you leave your foot too high and you bring your foot down on contact, it will bounce. Now, if you really break down a good touch, you'll see a lot of the time the foot will come a little back like this. If you're wondering where I get all of this information from, by the way, it's all my own observational studies that I do, as there isn't anything out there this fine detail that I'm aware of. If there is, let me know. The same how I've broke down dribbling and finishing to its absolute core. It's a long process though. For example, this course alone took me 8 months of full-time work, as I was determined not to miss anything. And my goal is to have absolutely everything fully systemized, making complex things like dribbling, your first touch, easy to understand and implement with a perfect system for coaching points. By the way, just on this point, I released the free CMP community. It's exclusive only for those who have bought 1 or more courses. It's free for a lifetime, and it's there to give you that extra support after you've taken the courses, as well as connect you with like-minded players, parents, coaches, and analysts. I think we have around 230 people in there at the moment, ranging from parents who have never played football, but their child aspires to be a professional footballer, all the way up to pro footballers and pro coaches. The best thing is, it doesn't matter what stage you're at, the community is beneficial to all. So if you're on the fence about trying one of the courses out, you'll now also be automatically added to this community if you purchase anything. At no extra cost, it's completely free, where me and countless others can help answer any question that you have. And lastly, on this point, for whatever reason, about 15% of people who already have courses, they didn't get added to it. So to check if you have access, on your dashboard, where you will find all of your products, you should see the community there, and then you should be able to access it from there. If that doesn't show up, please email me, and I need to add you manually. Hope to see you guys in there. Now back to the video. Now, Mia's touch right away from the explanation was perfect. As she makes contact, her foot, 1, doesn't go to the ball, 2, is at the right height, and 3, moves backwards as she makes contact. The ball bounces. What did she do wrong? Go through the checklist. The foot's at a good height. She's leaving her foot hanging here, which is good, but the momentum of her foot is moving this way. And on top of this, she doesn't bring her foot back on contact. Now, I'm saying she needs to be more patient. When you bring your foot forwards, look how it tilts up, leaving your studs exposed. But if you don't come to the ball, the inside of your foot is perfectly straight. Now let's have a look at her touches and see if we can spot why it worked or didn't. The consistency now is incredible compared to 5 minutes before. Here is an important point, what I'm explaining to Mia. One thing that will get in the way of you doing this good first touch is being too eager and not relaxed and composed enough. If you're too eager, you'll come to the ball. If you're confident, you will wait for the ball to come to you. Of course, if you have time in game. So now you've just become a more self-aware player or coach. And the way I look at mastery in anything is just self-awareness of knowledge gaps. Because you can't fix what you can't measure. Now the next drill we done was this into out, into space. Stop the ball or slightly touch it this way, then body feint with an explosive jump and escape. Now watch the process how we took Mia's technique from this to this. Firstly, this skill on the weaker foot, which is Mia's left, is very hard, even when you have a solid weak foot. As you can see, on her strong foot, it was much smoother. Now, the first problem we came across was the timing and coordination. The reason she was struggling at first was because she was trying to touch the ball / stop it at the same time as jumping with the body feint. So now we're breaking down the drill into the step-by-step and order. Then we're slowing it down to feel the rhythm of it.
Good, that was better. And again, you can still add a bit more delay in. Good, very good. And again, can you go even more delay?
Now, once she's got the rhythm of it, I want to see more delay and composure. Being relaxed until the very last second, not giving anything away. Here we can see she's already on the move. Now we can see at the same point, we have no clue what her intentions are.
I need to turn my foot out more to push this way.
That last point she said is great and shows she's more self-aware. We see here the ball went here because she didn't get a foot around the ball enough.
If you do a skill too fast, it will not beat the defender.
Yeah.
With a skill, there always has to be the element of delay and a pause.
Yeah.
Because that's what then makes them push off. But if you do the skill lightning fast, they've not even had time to react. So if you go,
Yeah.
they'll still be stood where they were. But if you go like this, then they're going to go. And
Yeah.
that's when you go.
On that point, if you've got really fast feet, you're going to most likely need to slow down some of your skills and add in more delays. I think when we used to see Ronaldo with lightning fast feet, it became everyone's goal. But we were never told you can actually do skills too fast. Like this fake shot, for example. If he touches the ball inside and does it lightning fast back down the line, it won't work. Why? Because the touch hasn't worked its magic yet. He needs to wait for the defender to fully turn his hips. He even takes another touch. This is ultimate composure and dribbling IQ. Now we see already even the left is more smooth.
That's it. Perfect there. Good. Nice, well done. Oh, perfect touch. Good. Very good. Oh, good. Good. Don't worry too much about the touch. We're mainly working on getting the rhythm of it first, and then the touch will come later. Think about the physics of that touch.
Of the passing one?
Of the touch. Think about your foot a tiny bit, coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Yes, there we go, good.
Now we're speaking about how to manipulate the defender's momentum by giving them false cues that you go in one way. You want to get the defender's line to go this way, who is engaged. A touch here would work better than just stopping the ball. The touch and then the body feint is two pieces of information to the defender that would go in this way. Stop and the body feint is only one piece of information, as the stop didn't go either way. That being said, with an engaged defender, they are highly reactive anyways. But it's a good thing to think about if you're in a really tight situation and you need to fool the defender fully that you go in one way. Touch the same way, you body feint. Finally, with this exercise, we finish with me passing the ball, running directly at Mia so she can practice staying composed in front of an engaged defender. Already we see it's much harder, mainly because she's less composed. She's initially touching the ball too much this way. It needs to be a stop or the slightest touch. If it's a big touch, you can't reach the ball to put your foot back around it. We slowed down the drill and done the skill back to back to get used to it, before then turning it into a reaction drill using that skill to escape. We pass and randomly I will sprint towards her. And the last thing we needed was for Mia to add more power to that body feint, and look how perfect this is. It sells it so much more.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
And finally, we worked a skill combination to use against an isolated defender. The step over and a hot body feint. We took it from this to this. And we changed a lot of small details in the process. Firstly was actually getting used to the hop, as it can seem so unnatural, but it's a skill used a lot. As Mia was initially jumping across, she was also taking the ball the same way, almost replicating the drill we'd done before. But here I'm saying after you do the step over, you leave this foot hanging as you hop. Now we're practicing just the hop alone, and I'm explaining that the skill is good because it helps you put the brakes on instantly, whilst at the same time your momentum is still going that way, meaning the defender can't read where you are going. And here I'm saying you need to have the momentum advantage. Now fixing the foot position and the distance of the hop, and then the optimal place to leave the foot. Initially Mia was leaving it on the outside of the ball, but if your foot is the other way round, you can escape much easier. Next step is to practice it more on the move, isolating the hop to get the rhythm and feel for it. After this, the next step is a fast contact off the floor. Now, the skill starts before the skill. Here, it's the angle of approach. If Mia takes the ball here, she's already shutting off the inside angle, as I can now show her down the line, meaning the defender is in charge. But I do mention you can use the angle of approach as bait also, like this. Sané purposefully takes the ball this way, and with the perfect timing, just avoiding the outstretched leg, the hot body feint combined with the outside chop. But for this exact scenario, we're working on the angle of approach that keeps both options is key. So now she's getting the hang of it. That was lightning fast footwork with the hop too. The step over unsettles my feet and it goes against my hips, meaning I back off this way a little to cover the inside. As remember, this is against an isolated defender with not much support inside. Cutting inside is a huge danger and they will react. Now she explodes down the line with the aggressive hops. To me, this looks like a sprint, so I push off aggressively to catch up. And then she goes against my momentum. And the angle of touch to escape is also key. As you see, she's shooting from too wide, which we fix in a minute, but next I'm asking, can she do the second hop a bit wider? But also to be aware that sometimes you will need to react fast with that hanging leg. The top players sometimes move the ball away as they are doing the second hop, as they instinctually pick up on the cue that the incoming stretch leg is coming. The final thing to put all of this together is how she's setting up her shot. Can she touch it horizontal and then shoot, instead of touching it here and shooting? Now, going a little faster, which is great, but we still need to sort out her escape touch. As you escape, it's ideal if you can touch the ball with the next stride. As remember, you're around the box. You need to be fast and efficient. Now look how much more efficient that was from Mia. Now paused here, what's wrong with this? Her angle of approach, she went too wide. Now I can easily block off the inside and force it into the corner. Already her self-awareness of the touch is there, noticing it straight away that it wasn't efficient enough. And from the start to finish, we improved so much. And overall, it was a really good session with a lot of major improvements in a short amount of time. This just proves if you have an effective training plan with the right cues and triggers to look for, whether you're a player or you're coaching somebody, you can progress so fast. And again, the reason I dived so deep into all of this stuff was my own journey. I trained so much. When I think back, 99% of the stuff I'd done was useless. And I don't want any of you guys to go through that. I want to try and help you to make every minute on the training pitch for you effective, so you're actually getting somewhere. And it's really important that players have a toolkit of skills to use in different scenarios. That's exactly what my dribbling work encompasses. I hope going through this video helped you become more self-aware. If so, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember to check out the community if you already have access. And if you're looking to improve your game in 100 times more detail than any of my YouTube videos, with everything systemized in a way that is super easy to follow and digest, check out the website in the description below and see how you can invest in your game. Thank you for watching. Make sure you take note of the coaching cues of anything that you're struggling with that we covered in this video. But most of all, keep chasing your potential.